So I thought I'd come out here on the front porch because it is beautiful today. Oh my goodness. Sunshine, clear skies, it's crisp, but it's gorgeous. So yesterday yesterday was an exciting day. So I am part of a group called the Redstone Arsenal Community. Oh gosh, they changed the name. Now I can never remember what it's called. But it's basically a community organization of military spouses and civilians who are associated with the military and all that stuff. Anyways, so the purpose of the group really is for doing volunteer work in the community, and they give scholarships out. But part of the group is different clubs, and it's just things to do for fun. I have two different clubs that I'm a part of within it. One of them is the Lunch Bunch. We will go out to lunch about once a month, different restaurants around the Hartselle area. So I get to go and enjoy lunch here and again at restaurants that I might not ordinarily go to. So it's a fun way to, maybe I should have grabbed a jacket. It's a fun way to try out restaurants that you don't know about. So the other club that I'm part of is the Adventure Club, and last year there was a video clip where I went axe throwing, and that was part of that group. And this past week on Friday we went horseback riding. Now I, like most little girls out there in America, loved horses as a kid. I never had a horse, but I loved them. And one year when I was about 10 or 11 years old, my parents sent me off to Girl Scout camp, and the Girl Scout camp that I went to was called the Cowpoke Camp, and it was a week of horseback riding. I loved it. And my grandmother, who lived out in the country, and she had farmers for neighbors. Well, one of the farmers had horses, and every so often I would get to go over there and ride one of the horses that he had there. Until one day I decided I was going to go over and I was going to see the horses, and I was going to go riding without permission from my parents. Now, he knew I was riding, but my parents didn't know I was riding. And I was going to go on this really long trail, but I didn't want to take too long, so I had the horse galloping. Well, the saddle came loose, and at the time I wore glasses, and we were running through a meadow with brown grass because it was autumn, and my glasses were also this sort of caramely autumn color, and they were never found. Yeah, I got in trouble. I got caught. And that was the last time I got to go horseback riding at my grandma's neighbors. Yeah, so kids, always get your parents' permission. So that said, pardon, there's an airplane flying overhead. So there is a riding stable in the Hartselle area, and so we got together and we went horseback riding. there was quite a few of us ladies who were doing the riding, and so they broke us up into groups. And I was in the second group. Well, when the first group came back, they decided to switch out one of the horses for a different horse. And the lady went and got the horse, and she was walking her around the arena area just to kind of warm her up and get her ready to go out on the trail. And she walks over with this horse named Sky and said, okay, who here has the most experience? And everybody in the group pointed at me. Now, I don't know why they thought I had the most riding experience, because it's been a long time since I've ridden a horse. And while, yes, we used to own a horse, I didn't actually ride him very much. Yeah, so everybody pointed at me, and I was appointed to ride the Arabian. So we were riding along, and she was a little bit stubborn, and she was a little bit of her own mind. You know, we would go through this area, and everybody else, all the other horses would be in this perfectly single line, and she would be off to the side. She'd be like, okay, well, I'll go the way they're going, but I'm gonna do it over here. And I was fine with that, and I kind of thought to myself, she's a little like me. Yeah, I'm going where I need to go, but I'm gonna do it my way. So we're riding along, and we get about a third of the way into the ride when she decided, no, I'm not gonna go the way they're going, I'm gonna go this way. So I had to kind of work her and make her obey and do what we needed to do to get where we needed to go. And one of the guides that was there was two guides, saw the way I was working with her, and he goes, you've ridden before? And I'm like, yeah, a little bit. So we were riding along, and most of the rest of the trail ride went just fine. She didn't try to be obstinate. She basically went where she was supposed to go, and she, for the most part, obeyed me as I was riding her on this trail ride. Until we got almost to the end. It wasn't the end of the ride yet, but we were in a spot where she could see the barn. And if you know anything about horses, you've been on trail rides before, you know that when they can see the barn, they want to hurry to the barn because they know that's where the food is and all that good stuff. So she saw the barn, and buddy, she bolted for the barn. And everybody else is going off this trail into the woods, and she is flying as fast as her little Arabian feet would take her to the barn. And I'm just like, oh no, you're not. And so I'm like pulling her into circles, and then we go around this way, and I kept making her, forcing her into circles, into donuts, until she stopped and obeyed and did what she needed to do and go back where we needed to go. And as this was happening, I don't know if you can see it or if it shows up on camera, but right here and right here I had these little red marks, because as we were galloping across this slope and she's taken off and trying to be her stubborn little self, I did one of these kind of numbers, and I bit down on my lower lip, and I caught my lips right here with my canine teeth. Didn't hurt. I mean, I didn't even know I did it until actually this morning. Yeah, when I saw that. So it was pretty funny. Now, I wasn't worried. I wasn't scared. You just have to keep calm with a situation like that and hang on tight, because as long as you don't fall off, the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to end up at the barn sooner than you should have. But I was able to bend her to my will, because when you're dealing with animals, horses included, sometimes they can be stubborn, and you got to show them who's boss, and you got to be more stubborn than they are. And so I just kept working her in circles until she gave up and went where she needed to go. So it was a lot of fun. Honestly, I'm glad that's the horse that I was appointed to ride. And when we got back up to the barn area, people were like, you won the award. But you know what? Had I just been on a moseying along sort of trail horse, I probably would have thought it was boring. So I'm glad that I was the one that was on Little Miss Sky and her ornery self, because it made it an adventure. And so that was a lot of fun. When I got back up to the barn, the girl that works there, she said, "How did she do?" And I said, "Well, she was fine for me." I don't think she'd have been fine for a novice rider. And while I'm far from being a cowgirl or anything like that, you know, at least I know how to keep my cool and ride on. So that was a lot of fun. So after that, I was heading back into town because it's, of course, it's a stable and there's trails and all that stuff, so it's not in town. But I had to ride through Huntsville to work my way back to Hartselle, where I live, and it just so happened to bring me into town right by the Rural King, which we don't have a Rural King here. And I was like, you know, Tractor Supply, where I shop a lot because we have one, stop carrying the socks that I wear. I have these particular socks that I wear all the time. They are nice and tall, they cover my calves, so since I wear boots all the time, my legs are protected, I like them, they don't fall down, etc., etc. They stopped carrying them, and I don't know if the company went out of business or what, because they don't carry any of that brand anymore, and I needed more socks. So I thought, well, I'm at Rural King, they sell boots, I bet they have good socks. So I went in there, and of course I found some socks, and I have them on right now, and so far they seem to be good socks. But then I heard crowing, and of course I had to go and investigate and see where this crowing was coming from. And what do my little eyes fall upon but galvanized tub after galvanized tub. Oh my goodness. Baby chicks, baby ducklings, baby turkeys. I was dying. I tried to FaceTime Mr. Smith and show him the ducklings and show him, see, you need baby ducklings, they're so cute. Because yes, I know they're messy, but they're so cute. Well, I wasn't able to FaceTime him, but I did call him, and I told him all about the adorable ducklings, and he said no. But he didn't say no to chicks. So yes, I have chicks coming in April, but I had to do it. I brought home chicks. So I have the last of their lavender kokins. They have one lavender kokin, which I got, and then I got some blue laced red Wyandottes. Those are beautiful chicks that I didn't add to my list from McMurray Hatchery, and so I picked up some of those and brought them home. And Mr. Smith is loving the chicks. He goes in there at least once an hour and just talks to them and loves on them and greets them and oohs and ahs over them. Yeah, so it has been an exciting couple of days. So whatever you do, do not buy socks at Rural King, because you're gonna come home with chicks. Alright, so that is it. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this video. Thanks for hanging out with me here on the front porch at the homestead. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Are we watching you?